It was supposed to be the happiest night of her life, but ended in tragedy that would haunt a town forever. Picture this. A small town in Ohio. Springtime. The kind of place where high school football still packs the stands, and prom night feels like a rite of passage. 18-year-old M.urder had been waiting for this night all year. She wasn't the most popular girl in school, but she had friends, she had a date, and for one night, she finally felt like she belonged. She slipped into a shimmering blue prom dress. Her hair curled just right, her smile wide for photos her parents proudly took. Inside the decorated gymnasium, music pounded, balloons floated, and laughter filled the air. For hours, it was pure joy. Emma danced. She laughed. She posed for pictures. For her, this night was perfect. But perfect nights don't always stay perfect. After the dance, Emma's date, Josh, drove her to an after-party. Like so many prom nights across America, the party was loud, reckless, and filled with temptation. Red cups lined the kitchen counters, vodka bottles appeared, and laughter grew louder with every drink poured. Emma wasn't a heavy drinker, but it was prom night, and she didn't want to feel left out. One drink turned into two, and before she knew it, the room started to spin. She laughed it off, but inside, her judgment was slipping away. By 2 a.m, the night was fading. Josh had passed out on the couch. Their friends were still partying, but Emma had a problem. Her parents were expecting her home by 2:30. She didn't want to break curfew. She didn't want them to know she had been drinking. So she made a choice that would change everything. She reached into Josh's pocket and took his car keys. The roads were dark and quiet, winding through cornfields and sleepy neighborhoods. Emma gripped the steering wheel of the black Honda Civic. The radio played softly, the hum of the engine steady. She told herself she was fine. She hadn't had that much. She was almost home, but alcohol plays tricks. Her vision blurred. Her reflexes slowed. She didn't notice the stop sign until it was too late. And then impact. The car blew through the intersection and slammed into a silver minivan. The sound of metal tearing against metal ripped through the night. Glass shattered. Tires screamed. Emma's airbag exploded in her face, leaving her stunned, gasping for air. And then the silence was broken. Screams. Inside the minivan was a family, a father, a mother, and their 9-year-old daughter. They had been driving home from visiting relatives. The father was pinned against the steering wheel. The mother was bleeding, but alive. And in the back seat, their little girl wasn't moving. Emma stumbled out of the Civic, her dress torn, her makeup streaked with tears. She tried to walk, but her legs shook beneath her. She reached the minivan and froze. The mother's screams pierced the air, begging for help. But Emma couldn't move. Within minutes, red and blue lights flooded the road. Neighbors had called 911. Sirens wailed as paramedics rushed to the scene. Emma sat on the curb, trembling, whispering the same words over and over. I didn't mean to. But meaning doesn't erase the damage. The father died instantly. The little girl didn't survive the ride to the hospital. The mother lived, but with injuries and scars that would never fully heal. One choice, 2 lives gone. By the next morning, the entire town knew. Just hours before, they had seen Emma smiling in her prom dress. Now, her face was on the evening news. Local teen causes fatal crash after prom. At the funeral, the community gathered in mourning. Teachers, classmates, parents, all united in grief. The mother sat in the front row, broken, clutching a photo of her daughter. And in quiet whispers, people asked the same question. What should happen to Emma? The law had its answer. Emma was charged with 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter, 1 count of vehicular assault, and driving under the influence. In court, the prosecutors didn't mince words. They said she made choices. She drank. She took the keys. She drove. And because of those choices, 2 people were dead. Her defense attorney told a different story. He reminded the jury that Emma was barely an adult, a child, really, with a brain still developing. He said this wasn't murder. This was a tragic mistake. Every day, the surviving mother sat in the front row, Her eyes locked on Emma. She wanted justice. She wanted accountability. On the other side, Emma's parents wept silently, watching their daughter's future slip away. The evidence was undeniable. Emma's blood alcohol level was nearly twice the legal limit. Data from the car showed she never hit the brakes. The prosecutor's words echoed through the courtroom. She made a choice, and because of that choice, the father and child are gone forever. But not everyone agreed on what that meant. Some jurors looked at Emma and saw their own teenagers. They remembered their own reckless mistakes, the times they drove too fast or drank when they shouldn't have. They thought that could have been me. Others had no sympathy. A family was destroyed. Choices have consequences. And Emma had to pay for hers. After long hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict. Emma sat trembling, tears in her eyes, guilty of vehicular manslaughter. Her mother collapsed into her father's arms. Across the aisle, the grieving mother wept silently. The judge sentenced Emma to 12 years in prison. She would be nearly 30 by the time she walked free. And yet, the question lingers. Was justice served? Some say yes. Emma's choice ended 2 lives, and the punishment fit the crime. Others say prison won't heal the wounds, and that Emma herself is another victim of one night's mistake. A mistake she'll regret for the rest of her life. So we think, was Emma Carter a murderer? Or was she just a teenager who made a tragic choice?